Although Sunday night might have felt like the end of the Florida Panthers season, well, genuinely probably because it did. But there's another game tonight, and there's another game to look forward to, and it's a big one for the Florida Panthers and Matthew Tkachuk because we are playing Team USA's legend. We'll break it all down right here on Florida Panthers Daily. What's going on? I am AJ Sheridan, as we do every single day, Monday through Friday, right here on Florida Panthers Daily, part of the Fan Arch community. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button down below. It's the thumbs up. If you're not giving us a thumbs up, what are you doing sitting here watching us every single day? I'm joking. I respect you sitting here watching us on this Tuesday, March 3rd. We're into March. Where did the time go? It felt like just in December, it was like, oh, the Panthers have a chance. Like just, we're not playing our best, but we'll find our way into the playoffs. And then it went to January, and then it went to February. And now we're here on March 3rd on a Tuesday, and it doesn't feel good for the Florida Panthers. Again, the subscribe button below, it takes about 2 seconds. Social media is AJ Sheridan Radio. If you want to follow on any of those, I am updating us as we go right here every single day, Monday through Friday on Florida Panthers Daily. But tonight, part of the road trip, game 2 of this road trip to kick off the month of March for the Florida Panthers. They're in New Jersey, not New York, where the Panthers got defeated the other night, but in New Jersey to take on the Devils. The Devils coming in at 29-2. And let's be honest, the Devils have a long way to go in terms of getting back into real playoff contention. But with 60 points, 11 points back of the wild card, they need a winning streak. But so do the Panthers. The Panthers are one of the teams that the Devils will need to leap. We'll get into the playoff push later on, but both of these teams are fighting to get back into the playoff picture. And again, the trade deadline is looming coming up this Friday at 3 p.m. Nothing is impossible, but things seem very bleak for both of these teams. And I think a loss tonight for either of these teams signify the end of the 2026 campaign. I mean, if you look at where both teams are, the Florida Panthers are in, I will say, a much better situation coming off the last 3 years. 2 Stanley Cups, 3 Stanley Cup final appearances. Panthers are in a much better place than the New Jersey Devils. But tonight's game is, I'm not going to say a playoff eliminator because it doesn't really seem like either team has a way to get into the playoffs. But tonight is okay, you lose, and you officially become a seller at the deadline coming up at Friday at 3 p.m. Let's get into it now. Devils coming in at a .500 record. They have scored 148. Yeah, you thought the Panthers were bad this year when it comes to goal scoring? Panthers have 181. Devils are all the way down at 148. Devils have given up 182. Panthers have given up 199. We've talked about how bad the goaltending has been. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that shows you. Panthers have scored a lot of more goals than the Devils, but they've given up a lot more also, and that's why these teams sit around the same spot in the playoffs. They average around the same shots per game, so both teams like to stress the goaltender. They just don't seem to really be winning a lot of hockey games, and I think tonight a key for this game between the Devils and the Panthers is the penalty, the special teams, mainly the penalty kill. The Panthers have been very good, especially as of late, killing off the penalties. They sit above 82% on the year. The Devils are below 80% on the year. So the Panthers need to draw penalties, and they need to execute on those penalties. We've sat here and talked here on Florida Panthers Daily every single day, Monday through Friday, about how important that penalty, the special teams play is. And tonight, that is huge. And we will get again into the goaltending later, but the Devils aren't great either. They're below 90% on their save percentage this year. Panthers well below that, just barely above 87%. We'll get into some goaltending tendencies later on. Panthers give up a few more shots per game more than the Devils. But I'll just give you a few players to watch here for the Devils. You got Jasper Bratt. He's the left wing. He's got 19 goals, 30 assists, 49 points. Jack Hughes. We all know Jack Hughes at this point. If you watch Florida Panthers Daily every single day, Monday through Friday, if you watch the Winter Olympics, you know who Jack Hughes is. He's not a player I have to tell you to look out for the Devils, but I will because he is a key player for the New Jersey Devils. And then Timo Mira, the right winger for the Devils, 36 points on the years. The Devils, they play top heavy. A lot of their points come from the top 3 forwards on the New Jersey Devils. So if we can keep them quiet, we got a good chance tonight. But again, it's hard to get up and go for every single game like it was just a few weeks ago, because we know where we stand in the playoffs. Now, listen, I could sit here tomorrow and talk to you tomorrow about the Panthers winning and about how that means we're going to go to the playoffs again. But I just don't see that being very likely, even if the Panthers win. I think it would have to be a 5-0 Panthers win tonight to get to that point. And again, I do think we have a chance because the Devils are not great at 5-on-5 goal production. I think the Panthers own that department when it comes to this matchup tonight in 5-on-5. But the one thing that scares me tonight is the goalie trends. Wow, I had it backwards here. I'm not going to go back and fix it. But it is the goalie trends here tonight for the Florida Panthers. You got Sergei Bobrovsky, the 37-year-old, the veteran, the two-time Stanley Cup champion for the Florida Panthers, one of the NHL's most experienced starters. But the heavy workload this year. His overall, he's given up over 3 goals a game and less than an 88% save percentage. That's not the Sergei Bobrovsky the Florida Panthers have came to know. That's not the Sergei Bobrovsky the Florida Panthers will rely on when it gets to playoff time, even though I don't think we'll get to that point. I mean, he's got the big game experience, and he's had a few shutouts this year for the Florida Panthers. But if you look at him this year and you look at that save percentage, Panther fans, are you here with me? Let me know in the comments if I'm completely wrong at this, but this isn't the Sergei Bobrovsky we've seen in years past. At this stage in his career, and we're going to get to the trade deadline, we're at the trade deadline coming up on Friday at 3 p.m. Is it time to move on from Sergei Bobrovsky? Let me know in the comments below, because I've had friends tell me it's not, but I genuinely think it is time, and I hope he goes somewhere and wins this year. And his jersey will be in the rafters at some point, but it's time for Sergei Bobrovsky to go. Not in a bad way, and I hope that didn't come off in a bad way, but I think with the deadline on Friday, if the Panthers decide to move on from Sergei Bobrovsky, one, I will trust whatever Bill Zito decides to do, but I think do not be surprised if at this time on Friday, Sergei Bobrovsky is not part of the Florida Panthers, and that is because what we've seen from Dmitry Tarasov this year. He's 26 years old. He is very young, and he signed a 1-year deal. I think the Panthers are better off both goalies coming into a contract year, giving Tarasov some money, because he's not going to need all the money that we were giving to Sergei. You're going to be able to give him a little less, and I think what he's proven to us this year, he's almost at a 90% save percentage this year, under 3 goals against every game this year. He's been better. He's been flat out better than Sergei Bobrovsky this year. And at this point of the year, it's not what you can do for me this year. It's what you can do for me in the future. And I think Tarasov's been better both this year and what he can give in the future. And that's because the playoff push is here. Sergei Bobrovsky, at this point, you don't plan to make the playoffs if you are the Florida Panthers. And Tarasov gives you the better chance both this year and in the future. Tampa Bay Lightning, again, now only 4 points above the Buffalo Sabres, who sit at 76 points, and the Detroit Red Wings also at 76 points. But if you go into that wild card race, you see the Florida Panthers at 63 points, and you look at 4 teams above them before you even get to the Boston Bruins at 71 points, who hold that last wild card spot. In the top wild card spot, there's still a 4-point gap between the Bruins and the Canadiens for that wild card spot. So I really think with the goaltending this year for the Florida Panthers, it's time to hang up the skates. I don't care. It'll make my job a lot more difficult here on March 3rd if you start resting the guys a la Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, Brad Marchand. And I'm not saying any of them are hurt. Marchand was banged up in the Olympics, but at what point do you just sit him? And you say, let's get ready for 2026, 2027. I think that's where we're at in this year's playoff push. Again, a win tonight will change my whole mindset, maybe. It probably shouldn't. You get to tomorrow, and I'm sitting here talking about, whoa, what if the Panthers win out? Listen, call me out on it right now. Because if on tomorrow, on Wednesday, I'm sitting here saying the Panthers can make the playoffs, go back and just drop it in the comments below here on YouTube. Like, you said this 24 hours ago, because I genuinely think this Florida Panthers season is all but done. Give me 6 wins in a row. Give me 5 wins in a row. Heck, give me 3 wins in a row, and I will buy in. But this year's team does not seem like they are going to do that for us. So I will move on to my best bet for tonight's game. Again, Devils and Panthers tonight, the second game of the road trip for the Florida Panthers. I am going to go over 5.5 goals tonight. I just highlighted how bad the goaltending has been for the Florida Panthers. We might give up 6 alone. That's a joke. It's an exaggeration. But the Panthers will probably give up at least 3 to 4. And if the Panthers give up 3 to 4, I expect us to still score goals. And this is the second leg of that parlay. The over 5.5. Honestly, don't even parlay it. Take this one separate. Anton Lundell to get a point. That's the last leg of tonight's best bet. We will be back tomorrow, hopefully breaking down a Panthers win and breaking down why I am back in on believing on this Florida Panthers team. I don't think it'll happen. I hope the win happens. I don't think it'll be a convincing win to get me back on board. Until tomorrow, until Wednesday, I'm AJ Sheridan. Social media is AJ Sheridan Radio, part of the Fan Arts community. Right here every single day on Florida Panthers Daily, Monday through Friday. Let's go, Cats.